I'm here with three guys who love sports, a show all about supporting guys that are going through mental and physical issues. And if we can help take their mind off what they're going through for an hour a week, and you help somebody and they help somebody, everybody does a little, nobody has to do a lot.
And I like not doing a lot, so
I'm sure you do. Here with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kenny. Robert, how are you, buddy?
I'm good not doing a lot.
Having a good week?
I am.
Awesome.
Yourself?
Yeah. For the most part, it's been a good week. Yeah. Our Bravos are not playing the best ball, but other than that, it's been a pretty good week.
They're fine.
Yeah. All right. What are you getting for dinner? Did you stick with your cheeseburger?
I did not.
We're swapping.
I started with chicken pesto ravioli, and then when I said the pesto, Sean looked at me and he goes, "The lobster pesto?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to say." So getting some lobster pesto something.
Liechtenstein Larry, how about you?
I'm going to have the quesadilla and a side salad.
And I am having my traditional Mimi's Fiesta Bowl.
Do you think Larry's worried about the bathing suit season?
Well, it's almost bikini season, and Larry needs to get in shape, so he's going to go with salads. All right, let's get our first commercial out of the way with Mr. Alvin Jameson.
Hey, Alvin Jameson here, the mortgage guy. Are you looking to get pre-approved for a home loan? Or maybe you want to build a house from the ground up? Are you curious, or better yet, is your significant other on your back about making renovations in your current home? Call me. I have options for you. All self-employed individuals. Are you torn between writing off all your income or having to show your income to qualify for a house? I have a third alternative for you. Whether you're a W-2 employee, self-employed individual, looking to do a purchase or pull money out of your current house, or better yet, we can't forget the investors out there. If you have that high interest rate, hard money loan, and looking to refinance out of it, again, give me a call. I have options. Below are the states that I'm personally licensed in. Call me, 404-587-9033. Again, 404-587-9033. Visit the website, alvinjameson.com.
Practicing?
I do.
You do? All right.
Yeah.
Welcome back, and thank you, Alvin Jameson, for being a sponsor. And it is time to talk some PGA golf. And first, let us introduce our guest of the week, Mr. Scott Rissmiller. Scott, how are you, buddy?
Hey, doing well, guys. It's good to be here.
Great to have you with us. It's always fun to have a new guest on the show, isn't it, Robert?
Absolutely, especially when I know his boss.
Oh, there you go.
Who,
Absolutely.
Loomis?
Absolutely, Mr. Eddie.
Yep. Eddie. So first thing we're talking about is the PGA tournament. So excited. Please confirm, Robert, that I did text everyone on Sunday morning saying I'm pulling for Xander.
Yeah,
You did.
You texted everybody after he got a lead. That
Oh, no. This was before the round on Sunday.
Right, he had the lead going into Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he was tied for
was
the
tied-
lead
he was
with
tied
Colin
with-
I'm
Morikawa.
just pointing out that you can't text people on Sunday and be like, just point out that I picked the winner.
Oh, I didn't say I picked him. I said I was pulling for him on Sunday morning.
Oh, well, you knew. The world who knows Chuck knew who you were
texted,
pulling for.
I'm pulling for Xander at 1:12 on Sunday afternoon.
Yes. I didn't say I picked him. I just said I'm pulling for him.
I'm just saying, anybody who knows your love affair with
Anything non-LIV.
LIV knows you're a Shoffley man.
Well, I said anybody but DeChambeau. That's the way I think I put it on the text.
He was fun.
Yeah, it
that-
was.
He was fun that day.
It was a fun tournament to watch, but when it got to where when he bogeyed 10,
Right.
when he bogeyed 10, I said, "Oh my God, he's going to lose." I didn't want him to lose for anything. Of course, Hovland was playing really good Sunday too.
Hovland was playing lights out. He was feeding off of DeChambeau. Where Bryson's hitting this bomb, and everybody knows the only person who can hit that bomb is Bryson. But here comes Hovland, and he's gripping and ripping. So he was a lot of fun to watch as well.
And you know what really tore me up was the drive DeChambeau hit on 16 up in the woods, and you called it the monkey fairway.
The monkey threw it
The
back.
ball back out in the fairway. I was so pissed. I said, God, because he would have bogeyed that hole, obviously, or most likely.
You know, he had so many great par saves. I think he was 5 for 5 out of the sand. They kept saying, all week long, and and I don't adhere to this. I'm just going to say it because I've never said these words before. He didn't lose that tournament. Schauffele won it.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
when he birdied 18, and then you see him go straight up and start hitting and watching the big screen, he did what he could do. Schauffele was there though. He was present. And
That was an amazing last 2 holes that Schauffele had. He had bad second shots, and he had to recover. But again, there were a lot of people that were going on streaks, 5 or 6 birdies in a 9-hole period or whatever, and then they would just tank. And I hated to see Hovland bogey the 18th, or no, he bogeyed, he parred it, he didn't make the birdie, or he could have been in a 3-way tie. And I like Hovland too. I was for anybody but DeChambeau. Anybody.
we knew that. We knew that.
Yeah. I hate to even say this, but I would have pulled for a Georgia Bulldog over DeChambeau.
I don't know that I could go that far.
I don't believe you.
I don't know I could go that far. Let me ask you guys a question, though, because a lot of people, like purists, complain about low scores and majors. I like seeing birdies. I do. I'd rather see that than see some guy hacking the weeds like I do when I play.
I agree with
Absolutely.
you, but at the end of the day, I was just looking for a stat that I saw. I thought I had done a screenshot or something for it, but for the history of the PGA Championship, the best going into this year for a combined aggregate score of all participants was like plus 54. Wow. And that's the best that there's ever been. This year was minus 150. It was 200 shots better than the best of all time. So I agree. But there should be more peril in the championship.
It was the
there was peril on the course. It was just getting to the course that was the dangerous part, apparently.
It was the lowest winning total in major golf history.
Yeah.
21 under.
I don't think you'll see him
Correct,
back
but-
at Valhalla for a while anyway.
I
so I
agree
think we're
with
good.
that.
But outside of 21 under, even when somebody can get to 21 under, the total score of everybody was hitting birdies. Even the people who didn't make the cut made birdies.
And I think the course had a lot to do with that. The softness of the course, the rain they had all week, because they could fire at the pins, and that's what they were doing.
but
I mean, I totally agree with you. There needs
I'm
to be
just-
more peril in the PGA.
I'm just
Championship.
saying there's 200 shots better every year. There's a course that it rains the week before or whatever, so clearly way different than the rest, but
Isn't traditionally the PGA the easiest
Yes.
of the 4 majors, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just the British is a nightmare with weather half the time.
British weather, the
U.S. Open's tight and
the-
thick rough.
and the horrible greens where it just rolls right off every time. Wow, that looks like it's a 4-foot birdie putt. Oh, it just started rolling.
Yeah, the game in England is a lot different than it is here.
Absolutely.
Because you don't have to shoot for the greens. You shoot short, let them roll up on the green. Just hit low shots instead of these towering shots that they were hitting. And who was it, Toasty, that drove 13? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
I said, that was crazy. And who else tried it? Jordan Spieth tried it, right?
Yeah, somebody
and he
else
knocked
tried
it in the water.
But like they pointed out, nobody else even tried it except for Toasty. And if Toasty did it, and you look at some of had the other people known what had happened 4 hours earlier on that tee box, I think a lot of other people go for it because.
Well, I bet they watched it. I bet some of them in the clubhouse were
I'm
watching it.
surprised
maybe so.
DeChambeau didn't try it.
I was a little
I really
shocked
am.
at
He's
that
the one
too,
I would
yeah.
have thought would have gone for it.
But
Yeah.
there was a couple people where they hit the water on their second shot, and now all of a sudden they're playing from way back. It's like you might as well have gone for it. Was that Rory?
Yeah, Rory hit one, rolled in the back.
Correct, but
Yeah.
they were talking about should he go for it, should he not go for it? Well, at
Might
this
as
point
well
in
have.
time, might
Yeah,
as well
you'd be
have.
chipping from the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Which he almost made.
yeah, it was a very fun tournament to watch. I agree it was a little too easy. And whether you're going to depend on the weather or the quality of the player or whatever, but
Course.
of the course. But there was some good rounds going by different people. I mean, I'd love to see Shane Lowry rolling that putt for the 61.
Oh, it's always fun because you'd like to think that an athlete is sometimes in that moment and doesn't really know what's going on. But as soon as that thing came up short, he knew exactly where he was and everything.
He
else.
said he knew when he birdied 14 that he had a shot at doing this.
How awesome!
Yeah, I wanted him to make it so bad, and he missed it so much.
It's so
close.
easy to root for a guy from Ireland or Scotland. I don't know what it is. It's just like you figure they're hammered as soon as they leave the course, and they're just a happy-go-lucky guy. I don't know what it is.
Well, it was really cool because him and Rory won the team title a couple of weeks ago in New Orleans before the PGA, and then Rory won last week. And it would have been cool to see Shane. I would not have been upset if Shane Lowry had won the tournament.
No.
Yeah. Like I said, anybody but. And I was happy to see Koepka fall off on Saturday, and Cam Smith. Now, the funniest thing I heard all weekend, did you hear what a fan yelled at Cam Smith? Traitor. And Cam Smith looked over into the crowd, and the announcers go, "Oh, I don't believe I've said that." Something like that. Yeah, that was uncalled for. That's what I think Curtis Strange said. That was uncalled for. But I was laughing. People have their opinions.
Minimum wage Joe can yell whatever he wants to at Mullet Man, and Mullet Man is he's not real concerned about what you're thinking.
No, but he did look into the crowd. And, Adam made a good point. We were talking earlier about DeChambeau that was threw a ball to a kid, and some adult that intercepted it. And he said, no, give that ball to the kid.
He made a beeline to get that guy back.
Yeah.
That guy knew he'd been had.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, so.
I know it kills you to say that. I can already tell.
Did you just say he did something that was cool?
He did something that was cool.
Hey, let's leave it there because that's
as good as it's going to get.
That's how we warm you up for another time.
That's as good as it's going to get. Yeah, but very happy. The next major is the British Open. I can't even remember where they're playing it. Turnberry this year.
I thought it was Royal Liverpool.
I just like to say Troon. It's
Yeah.
not, but I just.
Yeah, I love the old course.
I like that the PGA got moved to June. The PGA
It is.
always seemed
It's
like
Royal Troon.
It seemed
it
like
Troon?
Yeah.
it seemed like an afterthought to me after the British and U.S. Open that the
Yeah.
PGA was just like, yeah, whatever. It's the best of the last or whatever. And I was just like, nobody really
I
cared.
love the way they've
Put it
got
in-
now.
yeah.
They've got the TPC in March, Sawgrass, and then the Masters, one each month. I like that. They're really the only tournaments I scheduled to watch.
Yep.
I love
Plus,
the
it's the only
majors.
time I can see Tiger play.
There you go. And I did say that Tiger wouldn't make the cut. I wanted him to, but you could tell he was struggling out there on Friday.
I love that guy. I root for him no matter what or whatever. And
I was too.
And knowing that I'm a big, huge fan, I hope people cut me some slack on this one. He looks rough.
He looked horrible.
When you look at how everybody ages, you age the way you do. Tiger has not aged well, and I don't.
Hard living.
Well, I know some people do some hard living right off of Canton Highway, and I think that they wish, they're glad their eyes aren't as big as Tiger's.
But he has to go through so much in rehab.
So much.
I mean, the ice baths and stuff every night after he plays just to be able to stand up the next day, much less
But I'll
play.
tell you something. I promise you, there will come a day he will contend at Augusta one more time.
One more
I'm
time.
not saying
That's-
he'll win it, but he'll have a Nicklaus moment or something, or one of those
Mickelson moment.
Tom Watson moments at the end of the British where he was
Oh,
all of
yeah.
a sudden the third round he's in the lead and you're like, what's going on?
After 54, I
It'll
remember.
be like that with Tiger. He'll have one more moment, I promise.
I don't believe he'll ever win another major. But
Oh, I didn't say he'd win.
yeah,
He'll have a moment.
contend. Yeah.
He'll have a moment where you're just going to get
Well,
your hopes up.
Well, he had a moment this year where he just about making the cut at the Masters. I mean,
Right, but that's different levels of moments.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But I mean, I didn't expect him to make the cut there because that's a tougher walk than any course he's going to play. Certainly worse
Walking
than
the-
like British Open. That's all just little undulations and stuff, but it's not up and down hills all the time. It's
and
pretty
they're
flat.
typically shorter courses.
Yes, they are. Yeah, yeah. So looking forward to the British Open, and I don't think we talked enough about Xander and everything he's been through. Now he's an Olympic champion, Olympic gold medalist, and now he's won a major. And I think it's going to open him up. I think it's going to free him up to play a little bit better golf and not have that burden on his shoulders of you're the best player without a major.
There's no doubt about it. And that little exit blonde who's interviewing everybody and asking everybody the questions.
Oh yeah, Amanda Bellione.
She was pretty hardcore with a lot of the questions. So you got the 54 hole lead. How do you feel tonight? How do you keep yourself from thinking, wow, this might be it? And like you said, I'm sure I will think that. When I'm by myself or something.
The best round he
Very
gave was
honest.
after the 62. He said it's just Thursday. He said it's just Thursday. He said he handled it well.
He did.
A classy guy. I was happy for him, and I hate it. He said that his dad got him crying right before he was supposed to get on the green to get the Wanamaker. He was calling him from Hawaii. His dad couldn't be there, but that's pretty cool. I was very happy that Xander won.
No, it was good, and I agree completely with you that the monkey's off his back. He'll play freer, looser, and never have that one guy yelling things at him from the thing.
You're never going to win a major. Yeah.
So who is now the greatest player to never win a major?
Boy, I don't know. It might be Hovland. Hovland's a good player.
Hovland's good. Hovland, I was surprised when, they said no Norwegian because, I guess there's been some really good Swedish golfers over the years, but not a lot of Norwegians. So I think he might check that box and become the first Norwegian to get one of those Big Four tournaments.
He's good. I like watching him play. He had a solid round.
He seems steady, too,
Yep.
one of those guys where, hey, let's check his pulse. Oh, my God, the guy's almost dead.
He did make a bogey on 18, but he just didn't care. After he missed that birdie putt, he just
Absolutely.
didn't
There's
focus or
just
whatever.
different stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. We got to get our next commercial, Mr. Robert. With
I don't know that we can
Kennesaw
just go so
Express
quick,
Lube.
can we? We still haven't mentioned the number one player in the world.
Scotty,
Isn't that a little bit of a
I was wondering
something?
if we were just
let's
going to
talk
skip
about
that whole
it if
story.
you want to.
Absolutely. I want to talk about it. This is the only thing I want to say. Here's a God-fearing boy out of Texas, and the whole world loves him, and he's number one. And you look at him and you go, well, man, he's just well. Guess what? He'll never have another opportunity to prove any of us right or wrong again, because when you make an ass out of yourself at that kind of a level, you can never retract it. And no matter what he does next week, outside of him running into an orphanage and saving 19 children, he will always be the D-bag who decided he should do what he wanted to do when he comes up on a scene like that. Because for every person that I've talked to for the last week, well, it was confusing, and no. Every time you've ever come up on a scene and I'm going to say, if you saw that picture, there's how many lights? 20 sets? So, we're not talking about a cop car and a tow truck and something else. We're talking 20 different vehicles. There was a bus parked in the middle of the intersection where this was on. You didn't get confused. You thought you were better than everybody, and you should be able to be allowed to do what you want to do. I hope your fine is huge.
I totally disagree with you.
Disagree with everything you just said.
I'm going to
Give
say
it to
you're
me.
in the minority. I'm going to say you're in the minority.
And I know, but
I think
You
there are
think-
only two people that know what happened. The people that him and the cop, and that's it.
there was 30
no
cops on the scene.
Yeah.
There were not 30. The accident was down the road.
Yeah, he did not come into the accident area
He was
at
nowhere
all.
near the
He was
accident
nowhere
site.
near
The
that.
accident site was down the road. The cop
So-
further down told him to go up and turn.
So was he the first car on the scene?
No,
Okay, so then he decided he should go around the cars that had already been
because
told
the
to stop.
cops told him to.
Because the cops told
Because
him
there
where
was
to
a
go.
different cop that
Apparently,
told him to do that.
I heard, and maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I am, but I heard the PGA texted players, sent them individual texts, let them know how to get into the
Yes.
facility because of what had happened. And he followed those instructions, and those instructions had not been relayed to the police department.
Yes,
That's what I heard. He was
you
literally
know,
following what they told him
and
to
you
do.
guys can all sing his praises and put him on Mount Rushmore. The guy's a
Everybody wants to tear down the good guy.
if
Nobody
you
wants
were-
anybody to
No,
be
it's
the good
it's
guy.
not tear down the good guy. I want to ask the two of you a question. I don't want to ask him because, as you pointed out, he was 7 years old not too long ago. How many times have you guys come up on a major intersection and did the wrong thing where a cop told you to get out of your car because he told you not to move, and then you did? It's
Well,
zero.
It's simple, Robert.
zero.
You believe the cop.
No, I believe there was there was a lot of cops there. That's what you guys are. You guys are looking at something like CNN and Fox News and saying, well, there was a cop and a guy. No, there was a lot more than that. There was a lot more.
To
than
my
that.
whole point, he said he had a great conversation with the cop that took him into the jail. He said they had a nice chat and they understood what was going on. They helped him get back to the course in time. So there weren't 30 cops that were wanting to beat down Scotty Scheffler.
No, there's nobody wanted to beat down Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler wouldn't listen.
If
I
it
find
were
that hard
if it
to
were
believe.
Sergio Garcia, and Sergio Garcia has anger issues. He throws shoes. He does whatever. If it were Sergio Garcia,
Or
yeah,
Brooks
I would.
Koepka, or
Bro-
DeChambeau. They've got anger
well,
I
issues.
believe you.
Anybody
Yeah,
else
I
with
would-
the LIV?
I would.
I'd
I
have
would,
believed it.
I would absolutely be like, yeah, he went up on the scene. He did whatever he wanted to do. Scotty Scheffler's not that guy.
He's not that dude.
Scotty Scheffler's not that
And
guy.
that's the story you've been told your entire life, and now you know better.
I
So
know
when-
people that
No,
were
I
at
don't know
Valhalla.
So when you decide to look the other way, just know that it was a conscious decision that you made to look in the other direction.
I know people that were at Valhalla. That's not what happened.
So again,
ATI knows some people who are out on the side of the road at 4:30 in the morning.
Hey,
and,
well, let me
and
say
we're
this.
Clear.
No, they
Do
work
you-
for the
do you?
PGA Tour.
I can't believe that the entire world and every person I know who backs the exact same thing. Every single person that I know who believes in Scotty Scheffler's story believe in the exact same thing. Oh, my buddy, oh my God, that cop was clearly out of hand. Really? Because how many times have you gone to a freaking accident scene and they pulled you out of the car and sent you to jail?
well, I don't know that the cop was out of hand. I don't know the story. I was not there. That's my whole point.
But when you go to
You
play-
may be right,
when
but
you
you
go
may
to-
be wrong, and it's
when you
not
go-
me to judge.
When you,
Sounds like a Billy
no,
Joel song.
you already have.
It could be crazy. Yeah.
But when you go play cards with your typical friends, how many of those have ever gotten arrested while coming up onto a major accident scene? I guarantee
he was
it's
nowhere
zero.
near the major accident scene.
He was not near the major
It was
accident.
nowhere
I think the
near
one thing
it.
you don't know is you're confused with the location of where he was in relation to the accident, and I don't think they were
No,
as
The
close.
I'm not at
accident
all.
was down the street.
No, you guys are all lost in translation. If this is where the roadblock is, it doesn't matter that the accident was right here. This is where we put the barriers in the roadblock. That makes it part of the same scene.
But
It's
what
just-
if one cop told him to go this way and then the other one said, no, wait? That's what I'm saying. We don't know. But what I know of Scotty Scheffler, he's a solid dude.
We don't know anything
it took
about
so
athletes.
much class for him to come in to ask those questions. Even after he told them, he said, don't ask me anything about the accident. And they still did. And he answered them all with grace. And he said it was confusion. And that I believe, if you come upon something like that,
I think at some
Hey,
point you have to look
I'm
at the track record of the individual, and you have to at least give the benefit
Exactly.
of the doubt that it was ignorance or confusion.
From what I understood, Otani's interpreter is the one who told him he should turn, and it's just a big confusion. And
Exactly.
everybody's a great guy.
could you read our commercial list?
I can. There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castro Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business where you'll find Brian under a car or a hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol
products.
All right, thank you, Brian Bristow. Drove by his place yesterday, full shop. Got oil changes going on left and right.
I decided I needed to be friends with all of our sponsors on Facebook, so I started sending them out. And he is a memeing kind of guy. Every
He
time
is,
I look,
isn't he?
it's like, hey, there's a new one. There's a new one.
Yeah, he is that. So that's cool. We're going to continue our continuing discussion of the greatest athletes. And as great as number 32 was, Robert, 33 is pretty strong.
It is, but this is kind of a list.
What list?
If you're a basketball
these
fan, it's an awesome list. If
Right,
you're
but-
not, it's
Right, but
I get
Shaq was only a 33 for this amount of time. Frank Robinson was only a 33 for this amount of time. So not all these guys are.
When was Shaq 33? Orlando?
I believe it was later than that. It was like Cleveland.
Well, no. What was he in LA?
32.
32.
Magic didn't have his number retired.
No.
at that point?
Shaq wasn't 32. He was 34, I think.
That's
34,
what I-
there you
yeah,
go,
that's
34,
what I was about to say.
34.
I don't think
He was 32 in Orlando.
Yeah. But pretty strong crop of players at 33, and all of them basketball. For my point, the ones that are the strongest. I mean, obviously Patrick Waugh was one of the greatest goaltenders of all time.
Great goalie,
yeah,
not a
with
great
the
athlete.
Avalanche. And I love the Avalanche when Waugh was there. I watched them a good bit. Of course, we had a hockey team then, and so it was a lot easier for me to watch hockey than it is now. Other than that, I mean, Scottie Pippen, the only football player really, Roger Craig, who's not on this list, was 33. Tony Dorsett was 33. Not a bad football player, even if he did play for the Cowboys. So,
And I was
But is that enough?
When I grew up,
no.
when I grew up, I was when I was little, my dad was in the Air Force. We were overseas. I grew up a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Huge. Staubach, Tom Landry, all
Bob
of that.
Hayes.
So I remember Tony from the time he was a rookie to the time he was gone. Right? I remember the 99 run against Minnesota on a Monday night.
Yep.
I remember all those things he did. He was an amazing, amazing back. I still don't. He doesn't put him at the top of this list in my mind, but oh my gosh, what a fun back to watch play.
He's in the top 10.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Absolutely.
Great back.
Yeah, Shaq only wore 33 in the 2010 season for the Cavaliers.
He's not on this list.
Yeah,
Well, he was on the 32 list last week, too, but that was what he only wore in Orlando.
and he will be on it again
34 list
next week.
Well, nobody's got a shot but one guy next week, so we may not even do the segment. We'll work at it.
You're doing Herschel? You go, man.
No.
I would have said Herschel at 34, and I'm not even a Georgia fan.
We'll
but
worry
I will
about
tell
that
you-
next week. Yeah. All right. So I told Larry before the show, it's very hard for me to discern who I think was better between Larry Bird and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So
Except for one of them, you have plagiarized his name to where it's become part of yours. So
exactly.
there's got to be a little bit of a
I
lean
could do
that
Larry
direction.
too, Larry Bird, but I didn't do that. I just said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, I've heard Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but I've never heard of
Larry
Larry
Bird. Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
Yeah. Both great players. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube videos at night to entertain myself, and all these people talking about the trash that Larry Bird
Oh,
talked.
that's classic
Those
stuff.
are so much
That's
fun to
classic
watch.
stuff. The disrespect. You put a white guy on me to cover me? Really?
yeah.
That's disrespectful.
When he just looks at you and he goes, "Okay, next time I'm gonna take 2 dribbles to the right and I'm gonna take the 3," and then you see him do it and he goes, "Now I told you what I was gonna do. Why didn't you cover me? This next time I'm just gonna put it up second.
There was one when he
Great.
walked over to the huddle. He said, "Do you want to win?" They said, "Yeah." He said, "Just give me the ball," and he went out and he won.
When I looked at this list, honestly, I did not realize Shaq had as little time at 33 because I was thinking greatest athlete,
Yeah.
not greatest basketball player.
Yeah.
And if he'd have been 33 longer, he might have been my choice.
And you can do it however you want. I'm
Right.
just a traditionalist,
me-
when
For
it
me,
comes
with
to that
these two,
number.
here's what I remember growing up. My dad was a Celtics fan, and I hated him, right? I hated him because my dad loved him. I was a Dr. J guy, right? But I remember watching
He was
Larry,
last week, too.
Larry and Dominique go. And
Oh,
back and forth.
1987.
And I'm gonna tell you something, I saw Larry do things to our team that I never saw Kareem. Great scorer, and he was the best center of all time, probably one of the top 2, if not the best. But to me, Larry could beat you so many ways, not just with a skyhook. He could beat you any way he wanted to.
Yeah.
And I literally saw him beat Atlanta over and over and over in the playoffs. And for me, that elevates him above Kareem because I've literally seen him take over games by himself.
Yeah, like I said, Larry's a great player. He did some great things. He played with he had a great team around him. He really, Dennis Johnson and
Well, James Worthy,
McHale,
Michael Cooper, and
Parrish.
Magic Johnson aren't exactly slouches.
yeah,
that
but
little whiner Ainge.
yeah, but so the Celtics had a great team. I'm still in a toss up. I don't know which one I would.
You
take
know,
if I had to
it's
choose
funny when
one.
we're talking about the two, and you're like, Larry clearly played with some great people, and well, what did Kareem have? Well, he had Magic,
All right,
Worthy,
then
and-
who else?
and Cooper, and
Michael Cooper's okay. He wasn't great.
just Worthy. If you just say Magic and Worthy, you've had your trump is down. So very good teams, both of them.
Yep.
My main thing with these two, I love Larry. I love, whether it's the hick from French Lick or any of those other fun things that we like to call him. He is the best crap talker of all time. But he only
That I
played,
agree with.
But he only played for 12 years, and it was his back. And I understand that. He did more with a bad back through half of his career than most people ever know.
Let me
But
ask you this question. If they're both coming out of college, who do you draft?
You're probably taking the 7'2" guy who never lost in college, and at that
Or
point,
you could take the guy who took a team literally by himself to the finals because Indiana State had no help.
oh, absolutely.
And I promise you, Lou Alcindor had talent around him at UCLA.
But Lou Alcindor, what do you want to know? He won 6 titles in his
no,
career.
I'm not
He won
taking it
6 MVPs, and he did play 19 years. So the 19 to 12 is
Gives him your edge.
That's where my edge comes from.
But I don't think any of us, even ATI, nobody can agree that both of those guys weren't great basketball players.
Oh no, and
I love when he comes into the All-Star game for the 3-point contest and walks in the locker room and goes, "All right, boys, who's finishing second?"
Yeah.
I mean, everybody just kind of looked at him like, "Wow."
And I didn't mention it. I was going to the trivia question that I gave you guys last week. Larry Bird is the only person in NBA history to win MVP, Coach of the Year, and Executive of the Year. So the guy is well accomplished above most people, what they could ever want to be. But
And you know what? That's where I think that gets missed a lot. How many great players become great coaches?
Very,
They
very
don't.
few.
It's
They
very
don't.
difficult.
They don't understand why you can't get it. Bird had to work hard to be where he was.
But he wasn't a great coach. I mean, he was a good coach.
He got him.
he won Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Indiana.
I
he
mean,
did really well.
they
He
only
did
give
really
one of
well.
those out once a season.
Yeah, if you have anybody else to vote for in Larry Bird, who are you going to vote for? Larry Bird?
Well, there was 31 other people, so I don't.
Yeah.
I think you throwing that he wasn't a great coach is kind of maybe there was a newspaper in the back of Scheffler's car.
Kind of like Scheffler's not a great guy, yeah, which is your opinion. So
No.
We're all entitled to that,
Scheffler's always been a class act. The fact is that we don't know anything about a sports athlete except for what we see there and there. So when something happens that is way out of the normal, I believe you have to look at it a little closer.
Did I
that
go in
never
a time
happened.
machine? Did we just go backwards in this
We
conversation?
did just go
we're good.
backwards. I'll bring us back.
All
I'll
right.
bring us back.
So so ATI, what race car driver is number 33?
Max Verstappen, three-time
Verstappen,
F1 world
yeah.
champion.
Oh, you know what? I back everything I set up. That's the
59
guy.
wins,
That's the athlete of the year.
104
That's
podiums.
Greatest 33 of all time.
I was waiting for something like
Every
Alan
week we go through
Kulwicki or
this.
something.
No, Max Verstappen. I think it's fitting that this week's the number 33 and the Indy 500 is on Sunday. And
Are
I
you
mean,
going?
Of course I'm going.
He's got a friend who's going to
Of
be
course
there.
No,
I'm-
he's going. He
Of
goes
course
every
I'm
year.
going.
Awesome. Nice.
This is year 13.
Out of 14?
No, there's 13 in a row.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who's working it.
What?
He told me he's like, I'll be crazy busy until about halfway through the race, and then I'll have the best seat in the house.
Yeah,
All right.
it'd be awesome.
Well, a lot of going on here. My brain's a little fried, so let's do a brain train commercial and see if I can calm down.
We'll train
Nice
that thing.
segue. Nice segue.
Hey, it's Melissa at Brain Train Centers, the fastest growing neurofeedback provider in the world, and I have some pretty important questions for you. Do you or someone you know struggle with focus and attention, sleep, memory, or other mood issues? Or maybe you just want to achieve more in high pressure situations? Well, what if I told you you can unlock your brain's full potential and change your life entirely through neurofeedback, a drug-free and natural approach to negative moods, and it's backed by more than 50 years of research, so it's not new. It is safe for both children and adults as you retrain the brain to create new pathways. Medication may help short-term, but they don't address the underlying issues. Just as push-ups help your physical strength, neurofeedback is personal training for your brain. With over 20 offices nationwide, don't hesitate to reach out to Brain Train Centers, as we will provide you with the highest level of compassionate care and help you achieve the mental clarity, performance, and calm you deserve. Your journey to a better quality of life starts with a brain map. Now you can retrain your brain and reset your life. So just call or text 470-291-2778 or visit BrainTrainCentersInc.com.
The three guys who love sports right here with Robert
That was
Kenny
Brain Train.
and Scott Risman. Oh, yeah. Brain Train. See, I told you my brain. Meg and Melissa, thank you so much.
If you could train him a little bit more,
Yeah, I needed it.
he's ready for it.
Yeah. So thank you, Melissa and Meg, for being sponsors also of the show. We are going to talk a little bit of Falcons football. And it's the schedule came out last Wednesday night after the show,
Pretty much.
and I don't know about you guys, but I spent a lot of time looking at seeing who was going where and what was going where, and of course, paying a lot of attention to the Falcons. The number one thing that jumped out at me was how in the heck did we get 4 primetime football games after the year we had last year?
Because we've been drafting like we want to drive fast, and we got a car. We got a race car driver who can drive fast now, Mister. You know, people
Is
are
Kirk
buying.
Cousins a fast car driver? Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely.
I didn't know if you're talking about him or Penix. So
Penix is in the bullpen waiting.
That's a little bit of a different story. But you know, obviously, you know, whether or not we made all of the right picks the last 3 years, we'll find out because now we have somebody who can get everybody the ball. So I think it's good. Exciting.
It's very exciting. The Falcons, they do have the easiest schedule, and according to last year's records, which was they had the easiest schedule last year too, and that didn't work out too well for them. They still wound up 7-10, but that criterion that they use is so out of whack because of so many players moving
Teams
from
change.
team to team, and
Sure.
I don't see that.
Now they're going to start 1-2. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah,
They're going to start 1-2.
But I tell you, they do travel, I think, the 4th less number of miles of anybody else.
No
And
London.
No overseas trips this year. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of wild. Let's take a look at the Falcons. I mean, as easy as it might be, they don't start out easy.
No.
They start out at home against the Steelers.
Which is basically a neutral site game if you've ever been to a game at Mercedes-Benz with the
With the
Steelers. 'Cause
Steelers,
half
yes.
the crowd is Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yep.
Or Packers, Cowboys.
Or
Just
anybody
about
else.
anybody else.
That's right. I get
They
a
come to
game
Atlanta
I get
this
to
year.
go to.
Yeah, they come here this year. Yep. So they got a shot against the Steelers.
Yeah, that's a winnable game.
Yeah, that's a
not-
winnable-
That's
that's the
the
one you were talking
I said
about,
1
yeah.
and 2. Because
Well-
the next 2 ain't happening.
Well, what do you got, Robert?
Oh, no, I was just pointing at you guys like you were crazy going, that's a winnable game. I'm still not sure who the quarterback for Pittsburgh is, and they don't have a lot of good stuff. So I
So
think
it is winnable for the Falcons.
Oh, no, we're not. It's not winnable. We're taking them behind the woodshed.
It's the Falcons.
I drink
the
Kool-Aid
Falcons.
this time
We
of year,
don't
my
take-
friend.
He drinks the
I
Kool-Aid.
think
I
you're
drink a
drinking
lot of
something
Kool-Aid.
besides the Kool-Aid
Falcons
if you
tend to
think
do
that's a
well at
lot.
the beginning and then fail as
I just
the
don't ever
season
think
goes.
I can't see them in any game as a lock ever.
No, a lock
Ever.
is
So
a
when I
lock.
say
Panthers.
winnable, it's a winnable.
They're a lock against the Panthers.
No, they're not
Not
because
based
they are
on
the
last year.
Falcons.
Yeah.
But you know, at Philadelphia week 2, I know
That's a
we're
loss.
all that's a loss based on them being 10-1 and dominating football last year. But that team still hasn't won 12 games.
It'll
so
be their home opener.
Yes, but you know
Hurts
where
has another year behind him.
you know where they are the week before?
Where they
at
at?
They
San
play
Fran,
No, Philadelphia. They play in
Green Bay.
Brazil.
Green Bay in Brazil.
They play
in
Green
Brazil.
Bay in Brazil, so
They'll-
they might be a little
they'll-
leg weary.
They'll win. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Who, Falcons?
No, the Eagles.
Oh, Eagles.
The
So-
Eagles will win.
it's
Anybody
just-
want to put money on that game? I'll take Philadelphia all day long right now.
Well, I'm telling you, they talk about a trip back from the West Coast to play on the East Coast next week. How about a trip from
How
Brazil
far?
coming back?
Isn't it
Well,
the
it's-
same time
it's
zone?
the same time
It's the same
zone.
time zone.
Yeah, but it's still a long, long way.
Yeah, it's out in the
Yeah.
middle of the Atlantic, according to looking at the map. But you know,
Let's see that again. That's what I thought you said. Yeah.
Did you know, just on a side note, that the northern border of Brazil is closer to Canada than it is the southern border of Brazil?
Yes.
Facts you only get on 3 Minute Sports, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Just telling you, that's a big country. It's gonna be a little funny for them. That'll be
Yeah.
a fun game, though.
I think it'll be great to watch. Now, somebody told me that nobody in Brazil likes the color green, or one of their biggest enemies is color green, and that's all that's going to be there is green for the Packers and the Eagles. So it should be
Their
interesting.
soccer jerseys are green.
Yeah, is it? I don't know why they
Yeah,
said that.
I
yet.
don't-
Some article I read on ESPN, which
Well.
doesn't mean it's true.
Means it's probably not true.
Yeah, if Stephen A. said it, it's not true. Yeah. So, all right.
Stephen A says a lot of things.
Yeah, he does. All right, so we got week 1. Then we have the Chiefs coming here in week 3.
It's another loss.
Well, let's think about that. The Chiefs started out a little slow last year. They're going to be running into some of the same problems that they had last year because Mahomes is learning new receivers. I mean, Valdez-Scanling's gone. Robert's boy is in trouble with the law.
Yeah.
Rashid Rice.
Rashid Rice.
Yeah. I was
And
gonna
so,
say.
but they did get Xavier Worthy if he can catch the ball. I know he can outrun everybody, but I don't know whether he can catch the ball. So I'm not going to throw the Falcons under the bus for that game.
Is our weakest aspect,
I
from what
don't
I
know.
understand.
Yeah.
I just think we're weak on defense, and we don't have a pass rush. We didn't do anything to address that, by the way. So give Mahomes time, and you could run a pattern, and he'd hit you. And,
I
you
agree.
know,
As long as we can't get their quarterback on the ground, our defense is
against the quarterback, they're
I
cooked.
bet. Very interesting, though, that we have Monday Night Football at Philadelphia, and then we come home to play Sunday night football against the Chiefs. You know, back-to-back night games.
And that's
I think
pretty
after
cool.
those 2 games, we're going to go, why were we on primetime again?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think we're going to score this year. I think we're going to. I don't know
I
that
do
we're
too.
going to tackle well.
I hope you score this year, because if you don't score this year, it'll be a long season.
Well, I was so
Brother, we're from Atlanta.
could
We're
say
used
so
to
many
long
things,
seasons.
right?
That's
I
what
was
we
listening
do.
to somebody that I think it was Buck Blue that said there's a couple of defensive players. The cornerback playing opposite A.J. Terrell is at Phillips
Okay.
that had a really good year. He started 5 of the last 6 games. They looked good from his perspective. And also the second-year defensive lineman that got 3 sacks in the last 3 games.
Well, and you can throw a lot of stuff. I realize they're the same guys and everything, but when you bring a whole new coaching staff, even though this guy was there 4 years ago, every job is open right now. Just because you finished well and you didn't finish well doesn't mean it's going to work that way in camp and who's going to get the nod. So I think the idea that we're going to have a new coaching staff will mean the defense is playing a little better above their pay grade for at least the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and they're also going to have some preseason practices with the Dolphins, I heard, which will let them hit somebody else other than their own players. So I think that will be good for them. After we play the Chiefs, we come into a little NFC South mode. We've got the Saints at
home.
Yeah, 4 of our first 5 games are at home. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
And then
That
we
doesn't
got the
bode well
Bucks
for
at
the end of
home.
the year.
And, 3 of the first 5 games were in a primetime game, which is just unbelievable.
Three are in a prime time. 3 of the first 5, and like you said, 4 of the first 5 are at home.
Yeah.
So pretty
Yeah.
wild for the first 5. And the next time you have to go on the road to Carolina. So, that's pretty good.
But I'll tell you, if they're not 3-2 after the first 5, there's problems.
Yeah.
There's major problems.
Yep. And then we go to Seattle. I guess
Seattle's here.
No, Seattle's
they're
here.
here. They're
Yeah,
here,
that's
too.
right. Then at the Bucks, and then Adams Cowboys come here in the 9th week.
Cowgirls,
Yeah,
Thank you.
because
What
that's
week
how
is
they're going to
that?
play this
What
year.
week is that?
week 9.
That's about the week they come back to earth.
Uh,
That's when
Falcons-
Dallas starts to be
Oh,
Dallas.
yeah, yeah,
That's true. I forgot about that.
yeah. And then we have at
At the Aints,
back at the Aints, and then we have
at the Broncos.
at the Broncos 2 winnable games, right?
And just for the record, nothing. Who knows really? I like a late bye.
Yeah.
A week
you need
12,
it.
A week 12
when you
bye
need it.
sets you up for possible posturing and
You know
and
where you
jockeying
are
for
for the
position
most
when it
position
goes,
by then.
Hey, this is what we need to do. Sometimes you get a bye in week 6. It's like, okay, we weren't tired, coach. It just doesn't help. So I'm
Yeah.
hopeful for that
Then
one.
Coach Harbaugh comes to the Dome.
Yeah, we play 5 out
Captain
of 5 out of
Khaki.
7 on the road. That's crazy. Captain Harbaugh, and then we have at the Raiders for another Monday night game.
No, at Minnesota.
At
in
Minnesota,
14.
then at the Raiders. That's
I
right.
was hoping the Raiders game would be at home. I wanted to see Aiden O'Connell, but it's fine. I'll
Yeah.
watch Aiden O'Connell beat the Falcons in Las Vegas. It's
in Vegas. There you go. And then we're at the. We got the Giants at home. Then
That should be a win.
at Washington, and then the Panthers at home. So the back half of our schedule looks winnable.
The last 3 are winnable.
Yeah.
That 4-game stretch, week 14 through 17, at Minnesota, that's a rookie quarterback.
Definitely
at
winnable.
Vegas,
Yep.
it's a second-year quarterback or nothing.
Don't talk bad about my boy.
Then New York,
He won't even be starting by then.
New York Giants. Lord knows we love to play that man. And then the only thing that you'd say week 17 at Washington. Jalen will have his feet under him at that point. What kind of a quarterback?
If he's
Who
still
knows?
starting.
I'm gonna take a leap and say if he can walk, he's gonna be starting on that team.
Jaden
And,
Daniels.
But that's a great looking segment those last 5 weeks, including Carolina
if we're
to end it.
7-7 going into the last 3. There's no reason we shouldn't finish 10-7 if we're healthy.
Yep.
There's a chance we could win the last 5 games.
Okay, what?
No, I'm just saying.
There's a chance we could do a lot of things.
No, I
but
understand, but Minnesota's not going to be good.
I understand. Well,
Vegas isn't going to be good.
I don't know about that one.
What gives you optimism?
They were really good at the end of last year. I mean, they put up 60 on the
Once
Chargers. They beat the Chiefs.
Once they
lost
were
Josh
mathematically eliminated, they started playing well. Okay.
They lost Josh Jacobs.
The Giants?
He went to Green Bay.
Still
right?
have
Commanders?
Devontae.
Giants, Commanders,
Everybody
Panthers?
universally agrees that it's one of the easier schedules in the NFL, and I agree with that too.
I'm not saying we will
easy-
win the
it's
last
easy-
5.
It's easy because we've sucked for year after year, and that's
Yeah.
so I can't get that out of my head.
Well,
I have
I'm,
to look
nor
at this
should
I'm
from-
the same as you,
Nor
Scott.
should you.
I'm such a fan that I want to be excited. I want to say, man, this team can go 11-6, but we can't. We can't. I mean, I'd love to see it happen.
Honestly,
We
if
can't do anything until you look at somebody at the end of the third quarter and go, "We've got this one."
We got if we go. I'll be honest with you. If they go 9-8 this year, I consider that a really good year for him in his first year. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I hope for more, but 9-8 is at least a step in the right direction.
They should go 12-5.
Stop it. They're Atlanta.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'll call
Show off.
5.
You're going to lose in New
6.
Orleans because you do every year. It's a given. I don't care how
I think
bad
there's
they
11
are.
wins there.
Yeah, probably.
I think there's 11
I
wins.
think there's 10.
At least.
I
I
think
think there's
10.
at least 11.
Yeah, I'd love to see us go 15-2 and lose to the Eagles and Chiefs, but
And again, this is
I
assuming
actually think they're going to win one of those 2 games.
Cousins stays healthy,
Yep,
and we don't have to put a rookie on the field early.
yep,
If he got hurt late,
yep,
maybe it's different. But if he gets hurt early, then it's trouble.
Absolutely.
yep. I think we'll be 2-1.
And
I
let me-
think we will beat either Philly because of their travel schedule or the
I want
Chiefs
to be on
because
the
they're
show
not ready.
week 4 of the NFL season.
And let me just ask
We'll
you
have
guys
you
this
back.
question, and I think I might have already asked it once before, but if Caleb Williams plays for 12 years and wins 4 division titles and a few playoff games, we'll say he makes it to 2 NFC championship games and he
Which he
retires.
won't because he's playing for the Bears.
But if you look at that, you'd say that's a pretty successful number 1 pick. Is Penix's ceiling have to be higher because nobody could believe we picked him? It's almost like because it's not like he has to do less to be better. He has to do more.
You
It's
realize
scary
in
with
best,
him.
The best case scenario for the Falcons is also their worst case scenario.
Every
Unless
scenario.
Cousins plays 4 years out of his mind, then you've got a guy who's out of his rookie contract, and you don't know what to do with him because he hasn't seen the field in 4 years. What do you do?
Well,
You never draft him in the first place.
That's what you do.
maybe you get a little somebody who can put pressure on the quarterback.
There you go. That would be great. All right. Well, let's get into our last commercial. And you got any other Falcon comments, Robert?
I pray.
Go Birds. Go Dirty Birds.
Tired of going to the same old places for the
Rise
same
up.
old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, bachelor, bachelorette party, or somewhere new to take those out-of-town guests, American Access has 3 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, and now in downtown at the Works. Each and every location is conveniently and not coincidentally located next to a brewery. Look us up at American Access or give us a call at 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And we thank you, Dan Fisher, for being a sponsor of 3 Guys Who Love Sports right here at Miller's Ale House every Wednesday night or Wednesday evening at 5 o'clock. And we will move on to our final segment, which is the rest of the NFL. And the NFL starts off with one crazy week, that is for sure. First game is Ravens at the Chiefs. I think there's 9 playoff games that are reenacted this year, so that's pretty wild. Then the next night, Friday night, is the game in Brazil, the Packers and the Eagles. And then
Thursday night and then Friday
So
the
that's a
next
Friday
day.
night
Friday
game
night.
in Brazil. So that actually-
Because college football doesn't start
so that
till the
gives-
week
The
after.
following
I
week,
think.
yeah.
that gives them 2 extra days to recover from that trip before we play them at
Oh,
home.
that's true. I didn't think
Yeah,
about
it's 2
that. Yeah,
extra days.
From Friday.
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You want to change that 2-1 prediction now?
No, I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it. So and then I think the Rams are at the Lions the first week. Another
Yep.
playoff response, and there was
Not to mention
The Jets at the
It's the Rams and the
49ers.
Lions.
The Jets at the 49ers. Yeah, with
the Rams
Goff
and the Lions.
Rams and the Lions.
Lions really gets me excited.
But when you trade for Stafford and he wins you a Super Bowl, and now you got Goff and Stafford, and they keep going back. You know, it's a really funny one. You just named it. Jets at San Francisco. Does anybody remember who broke Sean the bartender's quarterback last year on the 5th play of the year? Guess what team he plays for
Bills.
now?
San Francisco.
That's correct. So the same guy who broke his leg.
That would be really funny.
But it's Monday Night Football. He only played one game last year. It was
That
Monday
would
Night
be- that
Football.
would be
and
so
the guy
funny.
who broke him is now the team. That's kind of an odd coincidence.
It's not funny if you're Mike Greenberg.
Yeah. Now let me ask you another little trivia question. This is cool. There is only one day of the week that the Kansas City Chiefs will not play this year.
Tuesday.
Tuesday. When was the last team that did that? That only 1 week, that one day of the week they did not play.
Would have to be the last time Christmas was on a Wednesday.
They didn't even play football then, unless everybody did. They didn't have special Sunday games or special Christmas games until
Boy, it'd
last
be
year.
like 7 years ago.
What you got?
97 years ago, 1927, the New York Yankees played every game but on a Tuesday. Football, the New York Yankee football team. That was
Before they were the Giants.
That's a trivia question.
That is good.
Yeah, that's a good trivia question. All right. So that's pretty cool. Now, the other 5 teams or other 3 teams that are playing on Christmas Day, they play on 5 days, every day but Tuesday and Friday. So that's pretty wild.
Who's playing on the Wednesdays?
Christmas Day.
Christmas.
Oh, that's Christmas Day this year.
Yeah, so there's 2 games. I think the Saints, not the Saints, the Chiefs and Houston. Somebody plays Houston that day.
Looks like
And somebody played- no.
Baltimore, Pittsburgh,
And
Kansas
that's it.
City,
Houston.
Houston.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Kansas City, Houston on Christmas Day. That's could be a great game.
And Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
I don't care about Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a one with 2 weeks remaining in the season, though.
Yeah, that's going to be a good schedule.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are we excited about the Ravens and Chargers? The Harbaugh boys going at it?
I'm interested
That would
to
be fun.
see
What week
King
is that?
Henry's
They
like.
play each other week 12 on a Monday night.
Of
in
course they're gonna
LA.
put that on a Monday night.
In
That would be
LA.
cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that
Somebody get the lights
Chargers
turned
are
off in
still
the
in
middle
LA.
of the game again? You get the lights turned off? and
Yeah,
they get a
that would
run
be
going?
funny. That would be funny. So a lot of good football games coming up this year. I'm very excited about football. So training camp is like 2 months away, right? I know they have OTAs and not a lot of people are showing up. But, I mean, I guess the biggest question is the Chiefs are going to win it all again.
You know,
I'm going with the Niners this year.
I said last year we are all dumb and fools if you don't pick them again, and we're not going to because we look at all the deficiencies they've had. But it turns out Andy Reid, as long as he's got Mahomes and Kelsey, he can deal with a lot of other inefficiencies and deficiencies.
I digress to a different sport, different coach, different quote, and it applies here. Gino Auriemma at Connecticut was asked several years ago, why are you guys, how are you able to win all the games you're able to win? He goes, we have Diana, they don't.
Yeah.
All Andy Reid has to say is, we
They
have
got
Pat
Patrick.
Mahomes, they don't. And
Yeah.
that's the end of the conversation.
Yeah, but the Bengals have Joe Burrow.
We have Patrick Mahomes, and they don't.
No, it's you know, once again they haven't handled anything the way I think they needed to, and they keep winning. I don't, you know, they lose Tyreek and they just keep throwing second round picks at guys who, you know, you can be impressed with Rashee Rice if Patrick Mahomes is throwing you the ball. You're supposed to catch a lot of passes.
Yeah, but
And,
the first 9 weeks last week, Kansas City didn't look strong. That didn't even look like a playoff team.
No.
And they got warmed up, and they got used to the receivers, and the receivers learned, and they grew. That's why I think the Falcons have a shot. The only reason I believe the Falcons have a shot.
the Falcons have a shot because Kansas City figured it out. I like your math, brother.
I see that. I see the NFL has a sense of humor. I don't know if you guys saw this shot, but Kansas City plays Buffalo in Buffalo, while Taylor Swift is in concert across the continent line in Toronto that week. They are literally there at the same time. You're going to tell me they didn't look at that schedule and went, "Hey, let's
Yeah,
stick this
they
game
probably did.
here."
Yeah.
Great planning by the NFL.
Robert's a big Buffalo fan too.
I thought he was a big Taylor Swift fan. I thought that's what you were going to
No,
say.
I
he's
love me
Buffalo
some
fan.
swizzle.
All right.
I love me some swizzle. Not as much as Ian King and his wife.
Are they big Swizzle fans?
So I was friends with him on Facebook, and they're showing pictures of
Their trip to Paris.
Well, their trip was in Italy, and then all of a sudden, the next picture is Ian King saying, "How big of a Swizzle fan is my wife?" And it's like, okay, you're in Paris wearing that shirt. I'm guessing a pretty good fan.
Yeah.
Pretty big fan.
Yeah, that's pretty. Ian's another guest on the show, Scott. So that's who he is. So the toughest schedule, according to the people that are schedule makers, is Cleveland. So I don't know. I mean, I know they
Good.
play in the
Looking at their
what
schedule,
division they in? I know
it must-
Pittsburgh and
They-
Cincinnati and
AFC
Baltimore.
North.
Yeah,
But, it
AFC
starts,
North. Yeah.
starts out with Dallas, Jacksonville, Giants, Raiders, Commanders. So it must get really bad after the first
So
5
theirs
weeks,
is the
'cause
re-
that doesn't- that
theirs
doesn't
is the
sound like a
reverse of the
horrible-
Falcons.
Yeah, exactly. Philadelphia, Cincy, Baltimore, Chargers, Saints.
That's 4 losses in a row right there.
How
They
big
do-
of a, how
they
big
do
of a
end
jump
the
do you
year.
think the Chargers make?
They do end the year Kansas City,
Chargers
Cincinnati, Miami, Baltimore. So that's
That's
pretty
4
rough.
losses in
That's
a
pretty
row.
rough to end the
Yeah,
year.
yeah. I don't know what the Chargers do. Chargers lost all their receivers. I mean,
I wonder how much, because the Harbaugh effect is real. I mean,
Oh, I believe
he's
that.
won everywhere he's gone. And I mean, Stanford, the Niners, Michigan. How soon does he turn it around and make them a viable threat in the AFC?
Well,
He's got the quarterback.
Let's
He's
count,
got
let's
the
count his
quarterback.
wins. Let's figure it out right now. Vegas, week 1.
That's
W.
a win.
Carolina,
Win.
W.
Pittsburgh.
Win.
At Pittsburgh?
Where's
At
it
Pitt.
at?
At
Still
Pittsburgh.
win.
No,
That's-
I'll go with Pittsburgh.
Okay.
All right, so 1 loss. Kansas City.
Loss.
Okay. Sorry, week 5 bye. Not going to help them in the long run.
No,
At Denver,
Probably
Win.
a win.
probably a
at
W.
Arizona,
Win.
Probably a
Probably a
W.
win.
Saints,
Win.
Browns,
Win.
Win.
Loss.
Tennessee.
Browns loss.
They'll beat the Browns.
They got Titans
I'd still say win. Where's it at?
50-50.
at home.
It's a win.
Cincinnati. They've had
That's a loss.
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati will be a loss.
Baltimore.
It's a
Loss.
loss.
Falcons.
Win.
Loss.
Chiefs
Where's it
again.
at?
It's in Cindy.
That's,
It's in
that's
LA.
here.
Chargers is here.
Chargers is here.
Big
there
W
could
for
be.
the Falcons.
Woo woo.
He said big W.
For the Falcons.
I want this
And
guy
then,
to pull
and,
for
then,
18,
and, then,
my coach.
and then you look
He's
at their
hard.
you look at their end the same way we just looked at Cleveland's, and Cleveland has the gauntlet to end theirs. The end of this schedule is Tampa, Denver, New England, and Vegas.
It's 4 wins in a row to
I
close
mean,
the
you know,
year.
I don't know.
Yeah. What's the over under for the Falcons? Is it 9.5? Is that what? I know Baltimore.
Could be.
New England's is
Could be
5.5, which really surprised me. I thought that was low.
It is low, but once again, they didn't like their quarterback, so they drafted a new one. But they didn't get him any
Drake-
toys or anybody to
drafted
block.
They drafted 2 new ones.
Yeah.
But-
Milton.
but, you know,
Over under is
did.
From
9.5.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who is?
9.5.
9.5.
Falcons.
Yep.
Yep. That's what I thought.
I'm going under.
They don't have anything there. I mean, they still don't have anybody to block. They don't have anybody to catch.
Yeah. New England's Mayo's and he's going to be stepping into mayonnaise. He's going to have he's going to have a tough time up there.
Not only do you have to follow a living legend, now all of a sudden you have to do it with a crappy roster.
At least
It's
the
not good.
living legend tanked at the end, and he's not replacing him off a high because it could
That's
be
true.
worse.
Yeah,
it
you
could be
could.
worse.
You could. Tom Brady could have just left, and
Right,
you'd have the
exactly.
28th overall pick.
It could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a way early prediction, but who do you think? Robert? Is it way too early to even predict a Super Bowl contenders?
We're a sports talk show. It's never too early.
All right.
I'm willing to give you the 2027 pick if you'd like.
Yeah, ESPN's
Go
giving
ahead.
odds 5 minutes after the Super Bowl ended. We're definitely not
Oh,
too
absolutely.
early.
Yeah.
I don't like the Bills anymore. I like the Bills going into last year. Getting rid of Diggs is a good thing, but I still don't know that we have that big weapon over there. So I'm looking at the AFC and trying to come up with something. How good is King Henry?
I like Houston. I think Houston's got a chance to take.
I
another
think
step
I think
forward.
there's 4. I think there's 4 teams in the AFC:
Baltimore, Houston,
Kansas City,
And Buffalo.
and Cincinnati.
I think Cincinnati might have a little bit of a chance.
Yeah, they got a shot. I've got Kansas City again until somebody beats them. I got to take them. But coming out of the NFC, I got to take the Packers. I mean, they played so well at the end of the year.
Lord.
They clobbered.
Somebody's been
Clobbered the Playboys. They got Josh Jacobs from the Raiders, and Aaron. Jordan Love
that's
played
exactly
with his
what
receivers the last.
And that's
3
just
weeks.
what Green Bay needed. They had the great running backs anyway, so them getting Jacobs is no addition to the team. Might keep them right where they were, but holy moly, man, how does that cough syrup taste?
Packers.
If I'm going,
I'll take the
if I
Packers
want to take,
and the Chiefs right now.
I will say this. I think the obvious favorites are there. Everybody's going to pick those. So I look at who the dark horses. Who do you think that could jump in? And one's kind of a dark horse, but they had success last year. Detroit. They could take
Detroit's
that step.
got a good
That's
club.
one. And I'm telling you, I don't know that they'll make it. I'm telling you, you watch and see if Harbaugh doesn't do something special in L.A. and San Diego doesn't make some noise this year and shock some people. I'm telling you,
I'm
that
sorry, but they're
guy-
not in
LA.
San Diego anymore.
I'm sorry, L.A. I am not a fan of him. I can't stand the guy,
I
but
don't
I'm
like
telling
him
you,
either.
he freaking wins everywhere he goes. And I wanted the Falcons to hire him as bad as I hate him because he wins. He just wins.
If they're over and under is 9.5, it'll be under.
I would take over.
Okay, there you go.
I
Well,
would
we're
take
going to get
over.
you back before the show, before football season starts. So
I like
that's
San
cool.
Francisco out of the NFC. I don't think the Eagles are going to return to that 10-1 form that we saw. I think Detroit's coach will screw up anything good that he has going on.
Dan Campbell.
What could be a fun team, and I'm not predicting anything great for them. Colts. When does
Anthony Richardson.
That's correct. Guys started looking good right off the beginning, and we'll see when they get him back, but they have an easier schedule and, have added some more talent. So.
It's
Well,
funny
if
that
I'm going to name a dark horse, I'm going to say the Falcons.
we've had
Why
all
not?
this conversation
Exactly.
about the NFL, and nobody, and I'm thankful, has mentioned the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they're not even a thought. on
Because
the
we're
radar.
going to suck.
There's a
We're
big
going to
Cowboys
suck
fan right
so
there.
bad.
He's got his fingers
I've
crossed,
already-
and he's
I've
praying
already
to you,
loo-
Lord
no, no,
Jehovah.
no. I've already looked at the schedule. We'll be lucky to go 6-10.
Yep. And Dak will be gone after this year. That might be
Thank
that
goodness.
guy.
He'll be a giant. He'll
Back
be a giant
again.
after this year.
All right.
How
Well,
about those Giants uniforms?
oh yeah, the retro things that look
That
like
red
like
and
the
blue
Canadians.
thing?
Look like
Yeah.
the Montreal Canadians.
It's like-
I mean, the Giants suck. So
Is that the Des Moines?
we'll never see those uniforms.
All right. Well, we need to get out of here. We're running a little late, but Scott, man, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure,
Enjoyed
guys.
having
I've
you.
had a good time.
Robert,
Absolutely.
good show, and we will see you next Wednesday here, guys. Don't forget, know your numbers, cover your ass, get your prostate checked. See you next week on Three Guys Who Love.